Hi there, my name is Mmanakana, your partner in gaining competitive advantage and the only possibilitarian. And today I would like to talk to you about diversity and inclusion. I know that it is a buzzword, and today I just want to talk about why it is good for business and why we should start looking at it differently, because I've been observing businesses and organizations and leaders. And I think they're getting it wrong. It's like it's a wishy-washy subject, and I think the reason why it is a wishy-washy subject, it's because we're looking at diversity and inclusion specifically in the context of business and how it relates to business and organizations in the workplace. They're looking at it as if it's time to absolve your own guilt. It's time to recorrect, the injustices of the past. You're thinking it's about the minorities versus the privileged, and it is not like that. Diversity, if you are a leader and you are approaching diversity and inclusion from that lens to say, oh, it's time for me this transformation is all about the fact that I'm white, I need to start being nicer to black people, and you contextualizing it to that only, you're just confining it to that, to say it's like, oh, I have to come back down to them, I need to start now making room for people and things like that. In terms of business, it's not like that, and that's why you would find most organizations get into trouble. It's not long I actually saw an article and I actually commented on it. I wrote a little piece on it where after the murder of George Floyd, and then most tech companies started pledging billions of money towards the diversity and inclusion efforts and things like that. And suddenly now they are firing people. There's a whole lot of people that are getting fired, and when you check, it's black and brown people. Why is that happening? Why is it happening that one moment you're pledging that, yeah, we need more black people in the organization, diversity, we need more diversity in the organization and stuff like that, and then suddenly you're firing them? Why does it happen? It's because you misunderstood what this thing is all about. There are two things. You did that. You acted from a place of heat. You didn't want to be on the black Twitter radar. You don't want to be cancelled. That's why you went on to pledge without thinking things through. Right? That's why you make it a mistake. You make a decision because of the heat. And now that the heat is gone, you're sending them out. You're kicking them out, so to speak. Because that was not even your intention in the first place. You were just trying to protect yourself. And that is why most organizations, their diversity and inclusion efforts are never sustainable. Because I think we're getting it wrong. Diversity and inclusion, it's not about correcting the injustices or staying off black Twitter. In the context of business, that's not what it is all about. It is about the power of difference. Diversity and inclusion is about the power of difference. And I believe that if, as a leader, you understood that it is about the power of difference, you would be intentionally going out to diversify your team, and you will move away from calling people who look different diversity hires. That's an insult to people's intelligence. Nobody's a diversity hire, and you're calling them that because you're getting diversity and inclusion wrong. Diversity and inclusion in the context of business, it's about the power of difference. It's about understanding the power that comes with having a diverse team. It's about understanding that diverse team, it's actually the one sustainable competitive advantage. It's the one thing, business models can be can be copied. But your team, its composition, no any other organization can have the composition of your team. And that just gives you sustainable competitive advantage. But you're not drawing any value from your diverse team because you do not see it as a source of competitive advantage. You do not understand the power of difference. People are diverse in your team, but you're not getting high performance, engage high employee morale and employee engagement. There are no breakthrough thinking that is happening within your team. You know why? One, because you're calling them diversity hires. You just brought them because of the numbers. It's just about change, but not transformation. You just wanted to change the color of the skin. You just wanted to change the genders, mix them up. You just wanted to change here and there so that you can be relevant. Two, it's because now that you have this diversity higher in your workplace, the reason why you're not getting any innovation, any engagement, any more high morale, the team performance is low and all that, it's because you didn't understand that inclusion is the strategy and diversity is the tactic. Meaning, it is inclusion that commands diversity. You cannot go on a hiring spree doing diversity hires if you have not created an inclusive organization, culture, and workplace in your company. If your organization is not inclusive and you bring in different people, diverse people, some of them are going to suffocate. And when people are suffocating because they don't feel like they belong in the organization, what are you expecting? The KPIs, nobody will break their backs in an organization for an organization that doesn't care about them. Right? So you need to understand that to draw value from diversity and inclusion, to get innovative ideas from your team, to get high employee engagement, to have high performing teams, you need to start looking at diversity and inclusion from this lens of it is actually about the power of difference. It is something that can become a source of competitive advantage. So as this new year starts, look around your team. Some differences are obvious, some are not. Let's go and try to go an extra mile. Okay, this is the moment where I can actually go in this book. I just wrote this book last year, and there's a chapter is about gaining competitive advantage, the 10 practical strategies that you can use to unlock employee engagement and drive team performance so that you can build resilience and maintain relevance in a constantly changing world. So basically, I'm sharing strategies that you as a leader can use to unlock employee engagement and drive team performance. And diversity and inclusion is one of the strategies. And it's about unlocking the dividend of diversity and inclusion. How do you go about? I'm introducing it. I'm laying it out for you to say, what does it look like? What is it all about? What does it mean for me as a leader? How do I go about creating an inclusive culture? How do I go about being an inclusive leader? How do I go about effectively leading diverse teams? Because the reason why we have to be screaming about diversity and inclusion, it's about in the workplace. We need to first understand this because you need your team. If you're the kind of leader that talks about innovation, high performance, becoming disruptive and things like that, you're gonna understand that it's all about the power of the employee. The innovative ideas that you want, they need to come from your team. The innovative ideas that you are going to propose, it all boils down to your team executing them. But they will not execute. They will not come up with those ideas if they don't feel like they belong in the organization. Belonging is very important. Psychological safety in the workplace is very important. That's what diversity is all about in the context of business. There are different phases of inclusion, right? But in the context of business, diversity and inclusion in the workplace, as a strategist, it's all about competitive advantage. It's all about competitive advantage. If you needed motivation on why you should be more inclusive, why you should go an extra mile and doing the hard things that comes with transforming a culture, that the tough stuff, because becoming inclusive sometimes may mean that you have to navigate through cut through your biases, right? It's the tough stuff. Going face to face with your values, right? Be more sensitive towards others. It's tough. It's the hard things. But that's what some of the things that you got to do if you want to gain competitive advantage. Because it's about the power of the employee. It's not the employee's fault, at least not all the time, that they are not performing, that the performance is low. Are they feeling okay? Are they feel cared for? Do they feel they belong in the organization? Do they feel heard? So, as you start your new year, let's start thinking differently about diversity and inclusion. Remember, it is about the power of difference. Forget that, I understand, I'm a walking minority, a cocktail of minority. I'm young, I'm black, grew up in the rural villages, that's a disadvantaged background by definition. I'm gay, what else did I leave behind? So I'm pretty much a walking minority. So I understand the pain, I understand the advocacy regarding diversity and inclusion and equity on a larger scale, in a societal level. I understand that. But if you as a leader takes it from that point, it may become more complex for you because you not even comprehend it, and you may end up even being on that Twitter radar, black Twitter radar, because you're gonna get it wrong, say the wrong things, do the wrong things. Take it from a point of the power of difference. Your employees are your assets. You take care of your assets. Right? And when you understand the power of difference, it's a team. Sometimes you don't get along with other people, but because we believe in one mission, the vision is one and all that. At that time when we're working together, we all one. We are all one. It's about the power of difference. We're not trying to move you. It's not about, because once you look at it from the previous things, the past injustices and the human rights violations and things like that, it's gonna be a complex thing, because you may think maybe I need to leave church because church is conservative, and then now I don't know. Take it from a business point of view. Understand why it is important that you create an enabling environment, a psychologically safe environment for your team. Forget the other stuff. I understand we're all different, and that difference, it is our strength. We're not saying let's be one as in let's all believe in the same things. It is important that we don't believe in the same things sometimes, because that gives us different world views and opinions. When you're in the boardroom, we're brainstorming different outlooks, right? So, diversity and inclusion is about the power difference. Right now, you're gonna make a mistake. You're creating an ad, right? You're creating an ad campaign. And then you're featuring different groups of people, demographics, right? And in your organization, you have the same people who belong to that demographics, but you're not engaging them. You're gonna do it wrong. You're gonna get it wrong, and you're gonna pay. How about you start involving them? That's inclusion. How about you're about to open a new branch in the township? Instead of those inhuman surveys online, how about you engage the people in your organization who were born and bred, who are living in the township area? The point of view. How about that? You want to launch a women's product line? Talk to the women in your organization. Start there first. You understand? The power of difference is about the world views. When you bring together people from all walks of life, you're bringing in different work ethics. your different worldviews, market intelligence. So from today, I would like you to start practicing to think about diversity and inclusion from that lens. It's not necessarily about the minorities and things like that. Like I said, I'm a walking cocktail of a minority, definition of a minority. Young, black, women, and gay. Do I even have a place in the world? Right? So what I'm talking about when I say look at it as a leader from a point of competitive advantage, a business strategy, it's going to even help you harmonize the two worlds of you being the privilege. If you are coming from a place of privilege, you're going to be able to harmonize and that place of your place of privilege and the ones that are now, still healing from the injustices of the past. You're going to do it. You're going to get it right. Understand it from a business point of view, and you're going to get it right at societal level. So that's it. As you start, I know because there is no team that is homogeneous. If that's what you have, the team that looks the same and thinks the same, you don't have competitive advantage. Your performance is not sustainable. What you have is not sustainable. You need to diversify it. So my presumption is that every organization has a diverse team. Even if they look the same in terms of color, they don't think the same. We have women and men. We have different people. Right? And yeah, I hope you could get this book, because also I didn't want this video to be long. There's a part where I talk about the importance of coming out, why we should all come out. And coming out is not necessarily about coming out of the closet, the sexuality closet. It's about coming out of our own differences. We're all different. You may be not welcoming the LGBTI community, say for example, or the black people. But even within the same people that you have, if like it's a white only company, there's still people who are empaths, who are more sensitive than the others, who have some other neuro disorders, mental disorders. That's difference. And how acute, they feel, how they align, like the same way a gay executive may be living a firefighter life because they're afraid of being seen in your organization because they're scared that they're going to lose their job. The same way they're always scared and afraid of being seen and, being out there and about. It may be the same experience for somebody in an organization who looks like you physically, but they're more sensitive or they have a particular difference. Maybe they cannot function like their impulse, and then it's sometimes get tricky for them to work in large crowds and things like that. It may be that they are autistic. It could be that they're bipolar. So they're struggling, they're suffering in your organization, but they look like you physically in terms of skin color. So that's why I talk about the importance of coming out. It has to, everyone should be coming out of their closet. And then that's when we can start creating a holistic, inclusive organization where everyone belongs. The belong is not only, when we talk about diversity and inclusion, most people think about gender, and when we talk about gender, they're thinking women. And when you talk about sexuality, they're thinking LGBTI community, right? But there's more to differences. There's more to diversity than the ones that are more pronounced, the ones that are out there. We are all different. So we need to go back and just look at our diversity and inclusion strategy. And for you to make the ones that work, engage your team, talk to your team, create an environment where people can talk, have workshops where people can walk the line and share the things that make them that are different. Things that they're concerned about, to say, I'm not sure if this is allowed, right? How different are you? Let them share how they're different. Find policies that allow that so that you get to know your people. Yeah? So Diversity and inclusion is a tough thing. It's a hard thing to do. It's complex because it's not about change. Change is easy. You just change the number of men in the boardroom, and then you add more women. That's change. But until those women get real power, authority, if they don't have the power to bang the gavel in the boardroom, then that's not transformation. It's just change. We still have a long way to go. But if you're an organization that wants to maintain relevance, because diversity and inclusion is not going anywhere. If anything, right now, it's screaming at you like any other important issue. It's gonna scream and scream and scream. And how do you see that it's screaming louder? When your top talent is quitting, lawsuits increasing, right? So let's go an extra mile. Let's go an extra mile. And if you'd like to have me at your organization to engage your team, both whether the team of your leadership team on how they can lead their diverse team inclusively and effectively, I can come and do a workshop or a keynote on that. If you'd like me to speak to your employees, like say the professionals, the staff members, on how on inclusion for them as colleagues, right? I can come through and unpack that with them. We need to take this thing serious. And that right now I'm talking about the organizations and the leaders that wants to maintain relevance, because that's where the world is going. This world is just it's fast changing. It's constantly changing. We are all prone to disruption. You can only say that we've always done it this way to a certain extent, but at some point, even the great giants fall down. Even the Goliath, they get down on one knee, right? So let's take it serious. It's not as wishy-washy. It's not as, I can't face this anymore. It shouldn't be. Diversity and inclusion is just any other thing, like disruptive thing that is coming in. It's just that right now it's coming up for us because it's time to pay attention. And from a strategy point of view, it's a good thing. It's a source of competitive advantage. Diversity and inclusion. If you're screaming high performance teams, innovation, just being disruptive and things like that, employee engagement, you need to care a little more about diversity and inclusion. It's time for you to unlock the dividend of diversity and inclusion. I hope you will engage with me. If you want to contact me, Mmanakana, wherever you're seeing this, if it's on any social media platform, my name is Mmanakana, the on top.co.za. Then you will see my offerings. You will get even my contact details. Or if it's on LinkedIn or anywhere, you can direct message me, and then we can take it from there. And let's see if we can't, crack this code, diversity and inclusion, and then gain the competitive advantage. Thanks for listening in.